Hey, what's going on, you guys? Welcome to another episode of the Trainer Talk. We are excited to welcome Nathan, his first Trainer Talk. He's been training here for probably about 6 months now. Did his internship here and then started picking up some clients, so now he's going to join us every now and then. So today we're going to talk about how to get back on track with your health and fitness after you fall off track. Last week we talked about how to get started in the first place. So now we want to talk about if you do fall off track, how do you get back into it? Because we know it can be very, very discouraging and very hard to always kind of jump back into the rhythm that you were in after you've fallen off track. You kind of don't feel good about yourself. You know, you kind of beat yourself up about, okay, you know, I'm not eating as good, I'm not working out, I feel bad about myself, I don't know what to do or if I can do it again. So we want to try to give you some insight on how to do that. First of all, don't fall off track in the first place. Okay, so that's our first recommendation, is try not to fall off track ever. Just kind of joking on that, but seriously, try not to fall off track. But if you do, try to just start with what you know works the best, or what you enjoy the most. So if you enjoy going out for a walk with your dog, start with that. Go out for a walk every day for 10 minutes, and then build off of that. And start adding in more things. So try to start with what you know or what you like. So we're going to kind of bounce back and forth with what we like. If we were to fall off track, how we would do it. So Bethany, go ahead and start us off.
I'll use, for example, I got like some sort of like cold virus like a little bit ago. So like I just could not breathe like normal for my workouts, and doing a Metcon when you're really high intensity, you just like can't breathe and you have no energy. Like I just didn't work out intense for probably like a week. And then I started introducing the Metcons back in and couldn't do it like I used to. And I was like, oh, I'm puffed after like 3 minutes, like this is not good. So you have to like, for me, like easing back into the workout aspect of it, because I wasn't off for that long. And then I always just try to like think of what I like would enjoy bringing back in, like if it's like a motivation sort of thing. Like if you stop enjoying like reading at night or something like that, so then you find a new book, something that excites you, something like you switch up your workout, or you make a new healthy recipe, just like something to kind of break it up. That helps to like keep you on track and then get you back on track once you find something that's new and exciting.
Right. Cool. Caitlin?
Yeah, so about a little over a year ago, I was in the hospital and I was bedridden for an entire week, and then couldn't work out for like probably a week and a half after that. So I lost like all of my muscle. Like I looked so small. I lost like 10 to 15 pounds that I didn't need to lose. And I remember like trying to go back and deadlift, because that was something that I loved to do before I ended up in the hospital. And I could hardly lift like the weight that I used to start as my warm-up weight. I could hardly lift that off of the ground. So that can be frustrating when you feel like you're starting from ground zero when you had worked your way up to whatever it was. But just knowing that you will get back to that point and to not beat yourself up over it. Maybe take a step back and just, if it's deadlifting that you love, I'm just going to use that example because that's what it was for me. Start light, don't kill yourself over it, and then also do other things to strengthen your muscles with like accessory movements, or just learning how to squat again properly, or building up your upper body strength in different ways. And then eventually, especially if you've done it before, your body's going to adapt pretty quickly back to those movements that you knew before. So just take it slow, don't beat yourself up.
So like everybody falls off track, even us. I mean, it might not be as long as some other people. I mean, we go on vacations, we just lose motivation after a while. It's very normal. So I just want to emphasize the importance of starting small. I like the book Atomic Habits by James Clear, because he always talks about how it's the little things that add up into big wins.
Yes.
So the same goes for if you fall off track working out, trying to start back, inching your way in. It could be, something as small as getting your water intake, or making a healthy meal every night. Something like that can spark you to go and work out again or have that motivation again. It could be listening to like a motivational podcast or a video, like something that just kind of fuels you. It can be really tough though sometimes. Like I know I lose motivation. I go in like spurts. Like I'll work out hard for like 3-4 months, then lose some motivation, kind of tail off, like kind of work out once, twice a week, and I feel like I don't feel as good about myself either. And then I finally get back on a program and I really start pushing myself again. I feel good. So you kind of have to use those wins as fuel because it does feel really good when you get back on track. It feels, you definitely can tell mentally when you're off track, and that's not just for working out and nutrition. That goes for like anything in life. When you're a little less disciplined, you don't feel as good. So just use the wins that you can do to start, like no matter how small it is, and then progress. Work your way back into that intensity that you were once at, or even more.
A lot on that. I think patience is the biggest key there, like you and Caitlin both kind of addressed. But I think it's also important to ride that fine line that's comfort. Stay within your comfort zone, but don't be afraid to push past that zone periodically. And I think it's like whenever I lose motivation, like I don't train maybe as much as some of you guys, like just throughout the week, but whenever I do, I find it helps to have a partner. I would train with Taylor sometimes during the internship, pick up some new tips and tricks, picked up a lot of ollie lifts, and I found a lot of passion for that now. I love training the ollie lifts now. So I always go back to my roots are like what I enjoy doing. So, yeah, and I try to base that off my weaknesses as well. So
yeah, that's awesome. Doing what you really like to do is definitely going to be the best way to start. I can say for myself, one thing that I think has helped me with my success and my results, I guess, with training is I've never given up or never quit. I have, though, adjusted my dial on my training. So I've actually dealt with back injuries for the last 9 years since I was 18 in college. Not sure exactly how I hurt my back, but for a good 3 or 4 years, though, I could not really squat or deadlift. But I could have, given up and said, well, I can't do this, my back always hurts, I better just quit training. I just adjusted myself. I said, okay, well, what can I do? And I did all the lifts that I could still do and found stuff that I enjoyed. And then I slowly started learning more and was able to basically strengthen my core and back, and I found a bunch of stretches and things that help relieve my back pain. Now I have almost zero. I've been training very heavy deadlifts and squats and Olympic movements for the last 5 years now, virtually pain-free in my back. But basically, if you have a limitation or if you fall off track or anything, you don't have to just quit or give up. You can just kind of ease back into what you really, really enjoy and get those small wins. Like they said, when I would hurt myself and I'd get really down on myself, I didn't want to train. Maybe I took a few days off to let my body heal. And then when I came back, I would do something I really like maybe bench press or some pull-ups or whatever. And then you feel really good after that. Like it sparks that motivation again. And then you just get back into a routine. Just to add on to that, kind of like Austin said, I've realized that there are times where I'm like 100% dialed in, my training's phenomenal, like I'm getting extremely fit, but then there's other times where I'm not super motivated, but I will still make sure that I'm getting in a workout and maintaining my fitness. And then that motivation will come back. And part of that, I've just basically come to accept the fact that that's going to happen. It's normal to not be very motivated.
It's fleeting.
You just got to kind of develop the discipline of just making sure that you're doing something every day. Like I said before, just adjust that dial. If you're not a 10 out of 10 motivated, maybe you're a 3 or 4. Still, just get some work done. Just put in a little bit of effort, and that motivation will come back. I'm a pretty avid CrossFit athlete. I've done a lot of competitions, and every single year there's a CrossFit Open, which is a worldwide competition. Anybody can do it. There's different levels and age brackets, and basically they use that as the first tier to finding the fittest person on earth. And we train for that every single year. So like right now, my training's kind of just in the middle. I'm just doing what I need to do to stay fit. I'm doing what I enjoy. I'm not doing anything extra strenuous. But then when we get closer to the open, I'm going to start dialing it back in and motivating myself and really pushing it hard. So if you have like a specific time frame or goal ahead of time, you can kind of use that as motivation to get yourself back on track and push yourself a little bit harder. But basically what we're trying to say is if you do fall off track, just try to start with the things that you enjoy. Start out with something that's going to be comfortable for you and not overdoing it. But it all is going to come down to our next kind of topic is you need to remind yourself of why you started in the first place. So we really need to just address, okay, why do I want to be healthy and fit in the beginning? And then figure out why you fell off track. Because there's always going to be a reason to fall off track, whether it's an injury, you go on vacation, maybe you have a summer cabin house that you go to every summer and there's no gym around there, so you have to take the whole summer off. I know a lot of people around our area take the whole summer off because a lot of people around here camp and go to their beach house or whatever it may be. But we need to figure out when it's time to get back on track, remind yourself of why. So for me, I have big goals of being the best, the fittest person I can be for myself and for my clients and members. I want to lead by example. I don't think it'd be very fitting for me to be super unhealthy and overweight if I'm the gym owner. Not many people are going to want to listen to me and listen to what I have to say, so I want to be as fit as I can for you guys. But I'm going to let these guys share why they work out, just to give you guys some ideas and maybe open you up to some other reasons to get in shape. So
yeah, for me, it's very similar along the lines of like being the fittest I can be. Like, we look at like those top tier athletes and everything, and yes, they put in like a ton of hard work, but they also have really good genetics. So just trying to like focus on what I can be and like being the best that I can. There's still certain movements I can't do yet. I can't handstand walk. I can't do a handstand push-up. Can't do a muscle up. I'll try my darndest, but I keep falling. So we're gonna keep going on that. So performance is definitely a big one of just like seeing those incremental gains over time of like, okay, I added 20 pounds to my squat, or 20 pounds to deadlift or something. Just like those little wins like really give me satisfaction of knowing like, okay, it's actually working. Like all the hard work I'm putting in is paying off. And then also like aesthetics. I mean, a lot of people come in and they want to like look better. Of course, there's always like something that I could have better biceps or something like that, better shoulders, and just like always trying to get that 1% better every day.
I've said this before, but I think it's a good reminder that your why will always be changing. It's never probably going to stay the same. Maybe when you get to a certain point, it will be similar. My why when I first started working out, I wasn't going to school for what I'm doing now. I was going for nursing, so it had nothing to do with, why I work out now. Before, it was just, I wasn't happy with myself. I wasn't confident. I didn't love the way that I looked. I was unhappy. I didn't have enough energy. And so that was kind of my why back years ago, which now that why has changed. Now it's because, this is my job. I have clients looking up to me. So like Taylor said, I can't, be hypocritical and not do what I'm telling my clients to do. But also, and I think it's important that your why changes, because say your why at first is because you want to feel confident and love yourself in your own skin. Okay, what happens when you get to that point? Like, are you going to fall off track because you haven't built a greater why? Maybe now it's to become stronger, it's to hit new PRs, it's to learn a different lift. That's kind of something that I'm looking into now. Like Bethany and I have been talking about, like me learning the Olympic lifts are something that I haven't learned yet that I would like to learn. So now that's something that's going to push me and be motivation going forward.
Yeah, perfectly said about your why always always changes. It does not matter like what you start with. What we all started with and why we started is a lot different than why we're keeping going now. I would say along the lines of both Caitlin and Bethany that it's good to lead by example. It feels good, and you have clients that look up to you. You never even know, you might have like young children and people like that looking up to you. And to set a good example, in my opinion, is the best way to go in life. But also my why too is to feel better, like 100%. It's like every time I get a workout done, no matter how long it is, no matter the intensity of it, I feel at least a little bit better. So that's like probably the main reason. Other than like aesthetically, I always try to focus on different areas and like grow certain areas. But other than that, it's just more making this my lifestyle and leading by example, and then trying to learn more every day too. That's the one thing about fitness and nutrition and health in general is like we don't know half of what we could know. Like so we can just learn and learn and learn, and then we can give our clients and people that watch these videos more information, and that feels really good too because you never know like what small bit of information could help change somebody's life. So that's definitely my why nowadays.
Big example that I give people a lot was 4 years ago I was following a program that was primarily for size. But at the time in college, I was starting my program in the health fitness industry and learning about rep schemes and how to structure a workout properly. So I ended up changing a lot of the things in the program, still following the workouts, and realized that I didn't care about looking bigger, but I wanted to see bigger numbers. So my why changed from like, oh, I want to look big to I want to lift big. And then I flip-flopped over the years as well. Like I went back to running because I ran in high school, and I ran 5Ks for like I trained for 3 months for that. Then I went back to lifting again. Now I'm doing Olympic lifting with you. So that's like my why right now is just like I know I'm not as good as I used to be actually. So
Yeah.
Getting better.
I will second that with changing from, like when I first started, I did a lot of bodybuilding. I just wanted to get basically as big as I could get. And I started out at like 6'2", 145 pounds. So I was a twig in high school, and that's why I started, because I wanted to build muscle and just feel stronger. And I just felt like I was, weak, and I wanted to change that. I wanted to feel better about myself, so I started lifting and building muscle. After a while, I thought about maybe I wanted to do a men's physique competition. So I was bodybuilding, and with my size and my structure, I knew that I was never going to get to the size of a bodybuilder or a men's physique. I really had a hard time building muscle as far as like bulking, I guess you could say. My body always seemed to cut off at a certain weight, but I was pretty strong for how much I weighed. So then my why changed to powerlifting. Once I got my back better, I started really doing a lot of squats and deadlifts, and we did a ton of powerlifting. I had pretty good numbers for my height and my weight, so I really enjoyed that. And then I started doing some CrossFit Metcons, which is metabolic conditioning. We used to throw those in every now and then we started just doing more and more of those, and basically follow the CrossFit protocol. And I watched some of the CrossFit Games documentaries. If you haven't watched them, I highly recommend it because they're extremely motivating. That is literally the reason I do CrossFit today, is because of how motivating those people, men and women, were, and how hard they push themselves. Basically, it's just, CrossFit's not anything crazy. It's just a combination of every type of training. You're still doing bodybuilding, you're still doing powerlifting, you're still doing Olympic lifting, but then you're mixing in gymnastics. Like she said, she can't quite handstand walk or do a muscle up or anything yet, but she's working at it. So you have to be a well-rounded athlete. So when I changed my why to CrossFit, I decided I don't care about getting as big as I possibly can. I don't care about getting, the highest bench in my gym or anything. I wanted to be as fit as I possibly could at the weight that I'm at, and be as strong as I can in everything at the size that my body likes to be at. So that's kind of my why. I'm trying to be as fit as I possibly can at where my body is comfortable with. And my 1 rep max bench and squat and deadlift has gone down a little bit actually, but I've never been able to handstand walk and do muscle ups and rope climbs and barbell snatches and clean and jerks. I couldn't do that stuff 5 years ago, and now I can, and it's extremely gratifying. I feel amazing being able to do that stuff. And actually, the reason I started doing Metcons is because I was teaching fit camps and putting these people through all these circuits, and I couldn't even do them. So I needed if I'm going to kill these people, I better be able to do it myself. So that's kind of why I started doing that conditioning, because my cardio when I was bodybuilding was literally doing a superset of chest and back. It was the extent of my cardiovascular health. So I needed to start doing that, and it's just been awesome. And now my why is to become one of the fittest men in Michigan or even the United States. We came close last year, me and my employee Martin. We finished top 2% fittest in the world. So that was a pretty cool accomplishment to be in that level. So now we're just continuing to work toward it. So that's kind of a little bit more of my why as well. Last little thing that we're going to talk about before we wrap up is just depending on where you're at and who you are and how much you've trained. Bethany was mentioning there's different ways you want to kind of jump back into it. You might, for some people, it's going to be better to start nice and slow and steady. Maybe start with a walk again and then maybe a couple workouts a week. But for other people, you might just want to jump right in and start back up. If you're somebody that really struggles with staying disciplined, or maybe you procrastinate and you're like, I'll start next week. I'll start next week. You might be better suited to just jump right back into like a challenge or hire a trainer or join a class or something like that. So if you guys want to add a little bit on that, like how you should start, we'll kind of give a little bit of tips on that and then we'll wrap up.
Yeah, so like with the jumping back in, like I like how you mentioned, like a challenge, some sort of thing to just like kickstart it, or like getting back into your old habits that you liked. But then, some people, like, they do better with that just because, like you said, they tend to procrastinate, or they're a little bit forgetful and they don't have those habits built up quite yet. So like going back in all in kind of like switches that on, like turns the switch on again for your brain to like, oh, we're doing this again. And all the old habits that you associate with each other are now like combined. So, you start working out and eating healthy, all of a sudden your sleep improves, and then you're drinking more water, and like all these different things kind of start to compound really fast, just because you associate, working out with eating better and drinking more water, that sort of thing. Some people, it's a little overwhelming. Like for some people, they're like, I can't track macros, plus, follow this workout program, and like there's just like too many things going on for them at once. And it's better for them to start off slower. Otherwise, if they get too overwhelmed, then they're just gonna quit again. So knowing what type of person you are and whether like you're gonna get frustrated really easy if there's too much, or like if you're, you know that you have to like kind of like jump in head first. Otherwise, it's just not gonna work out.
Yeah, I mean, if you fell off track because of an injury or something like that, it's best to start slow, and it's best to ease your way back into it. But you could really focus on your nutrition in that time. And also if you fell off track and it's been like 5 years and you're super, super out of shape compared to before, you may want to start out slow too, just because if you try to work out 6 days a week right away, like super hard, like come to fit camps or whatever it is, 5 or 6 days a week, you may just like burn yourself out and say, this sucks, my body hurts, like this isn't even any fun, and then quit. So you have to know like where you are, and just kind of, try it out. I would say kind of no matter what to just start a little bit slower, so that you don't burn yourself out. But I mean, there are some people who it's either all or nothing, so they just need to jump right in, and you just need to kind of know the type of person that you are.
Yeah, just like any advice that we give in the fitness industry here, it really all depends. It just depends on what kind of person you are and your personality. If you're somebody that is good at, one thing and can only focus on one thing at a time, then like just focus on the one thing that you know you can do and be good at. And if it's coming in to work out, then be good at that, and then hopefully you can compound that with nutrition other things, sleep, like you said, like just trying to kind of compound those wins. I would say agree with Caitlin. Probably most people should probably start off slow, especially if it's been a long time, just due to like soreness and like we talked earlier, motivation is not going to always be there, and it's hard to be motivated when your body feels like crap. So like push yourself, but also know your limits. Take the time to recover. I would say I would start almost any client if they haven't worked out in a long time by just walking, like going for a walk every day. Starting that really good habit. Try to go at the same time every single day, and then build our way up to intense workouts.
And I think a good way to help motivate yourself is to find something new that you're not used to.
Yeah.
So when I started doing power cleans and snatches, never done a snatch before I came here. Never did a snatch. But now we've got a specialty training session that revolves around strongman lifts, which is very unconventional lifting. So that is a very unique way to get into something new. And not a lot of people do a log press or farmer carries. I mean, we do farmer carries for functional training, but we don't realize like what it feels like to translate that to actual training sometimes. So I think finding something new and unique is a great way to help kickstart getting back into it.
Yeah, and I think that's why I fell in love with CrossFit so much, because every single day, every single workout's different. Like you're doing the similar compound movements, but the rep schemes are always different, and the timing is always different. Sometimes you're doing a workout 4 times, other times you're trying to complete a certain amount of rounds. Like it makes you do stuff that you wouldn't normally do, which is good for me, because if it was up to me, I'm just going to do the stuff I like, and it might not be the things that I need to do. So yeah, I really agree with that. Is try something new, because new is usually always exciting. It's going to motivate you a little bit, and then you can just keep adding on to that. I think the biggest takeaways from this is just you're going to fall off track at some point, whether it's completely or just a little bit. Maybe you're not as motivated as normal. The most important thing is never ever give up. Never completely stop and never start back up. You always got to get back up when you fall down. So find out whatever it is that's going to motivate you. Remember your why you started in the first place. Why do you want to be healthier and fit? For a lot of people, it's just literally to feel better, become more confident about themselves, or for a lot of people listening, you probably have some children. I say this all the time. If you're a parent, you need to be thinking about your kids and your loved ones, and being healthy for them and being around as long as you possibly can to just enjoy memories and enjoy life with your friends and family. So I think that's a good why for almost anyone. So if you're trying to find a reason to start working out or exercising or eating healthier, really try to dig deep and ask yourself, okay, what's the most important things to me, and how badly do I want to keep them? And I think for me and for all of us, deep down to our core, it's we want to be healthy for our loved ones and our family members. I mean, we want to enjoy life and be able to do anything we want to do without having pain or restriction or anything like that, which I think a lot of people would love. Especially in today's world, so many people are sedentary, work desk jobs, and they go home and they have so much back pain and leg pain, they can't even play with their kids, or they eat enough, or they don't eat well enough, and they don't have the energy to do anything when they get home. So, just having more energy and relieving yourself of pain could be a strong enough why for someone. So just really think about that, and if you do fall off track, just remember that you can get back on track. It's normal. We do it too. That's another big takeaway, is we're not superhumans or anything. We're just constantly learning, and we're constantly growing, and we're constantly practicing this stuff so that we can give you guys the best knowledge and education, and try to deliver the results right to you. So if you're somebody that needs that jump start, needs help getting on track, maybe you've never tried anything before, don't hesitate to reach out to us. Any of these guys or myself could train you and coach you and get you a program that is suitable for you to start with. Like we said, you don't want to jump in too hard right away and be so sore that you never want to work out again. We don't want that. So we want you to actually enjoy it, get those small wins, and get a little bit better every single day, consistently over time, so that you can achieve that ultimate goal that you want to achieve and live a happier, healthier lifestyle. So stay healthy. If you want to reach out, just comment, just call us, stop up here at Taylor Hutchinson Fitness. You can talk to any of these guys or myself, like I said. So make sure you like and subscribe, follow us so that you can see more content. We do a weekly video just like this every single week, just trying to inform our community more on health and fitness. That way you guys can start to implement these things to reaching your goals and living a better life. So until next time, have a good day, guys, and we'll see you soon.